What's going on, everybody? Jeff Holiday here, and today I am reporting on a developing story. It's actually a story that I've been wanting to cover for the past week, but as more details kept coming out, it kept pushing back me reporting on it. And as well, I recognize now, well, I've been recognizing for a while, but it's really hit me in the chest this week that a lot of times when I make videos, these videos are always just about terrible, terrible things. And it's been a challenge for me to even want to talk about this one because of how awful this is. And it's happening, like now, like right now. Samoa measles outbreak. Government shuts down so everyone can get vaccinated. This is just updated today, about 3 hours ago. Red flags have been erected across Samoa to mark unvaccinated households as the government shuts down Thursday to deploy all resources to reining in a deadly measles outbreak. More than 4,200 cases of measles have been reported across the Pacific Island nation in recent weeks, including 62 deaths, with 2 fatalities in the last 24 hours, according to official statistics. None of the victims were vaccinated, the government said. Now, let's get a little bit of backstory on this. Samoa is a small cluster of islands in the Pacific Ocean. They are an independent country. They got their independence from New Zealand. A lot of people get them confused with American Samoa. Those are actually different islands, different countries, obviously. However, Samoa has, over the years, had some issues with this, and there's a very distinct reason why this, in specific, measles, and the lack of vaccination rates is such a problem now. But for that, you're going to have to wait to the end of the video. Schools throughout Samoa have been shut indefinitely since November 17th due to the crisis, which has seen a total of 165 new cases recorded since Wednesday. Children have been banned from all public gatherings and places where large numbers of people congregate, according to Prime Minister Tuilepa. I'm going to butcher those. I apologize. Samoa's government officially declared a state of emergency on November 15th, according to UNICEF, and began a mass vaccination campaign 5 days later. 58,000 people, more than a quarter of the population, were vaccinated from the start of the campaign on November 20th until Monday. Now, that number, 62, or it might even be 63 today, is fluctuating a lot. In fact, not only 5 days ago, when I was originally going to report on this, I believe it was in the 40s, and now it's in the 60s. And of them, well above 40 of those deaths are children, younger than the age of 7, some very, very young. And this is a horrifying situation. They are having to mark the houses of the unvaccinated with pieces of red cloth or red flags, something out of like biblical times to denote which one is a plague house. And this really isn't being hyperbolic. This is a real reality, and it is happening right now in real time. And there's nothing you or I can really do to help it, except witness that it is. This article comes from Talamua. It's a news organization from Samoa. A couple shares lost the youngest daughter to measles. How does one react when told by a doctor that there was nothing more they could do to save the life of a loved one? And how does one deal with the pain and heartache of watching a loved one's life slipping away slowly in front of one's eyes? Those are the painful realities and dilemma faced by the young couple, I'm not going to pronounce their names, when told by a doctor that there was nothing they could do to save their little girl, Jacinta. Jacinta was only 7 months old, the youngest of 3 siblings, when she lost her fight against the devastating measles epidemic, now claiming 53 lives, and the death toll is still growing. So 53, and that was 4 days ago. I'm recording this on the 6th of December. Who knows how long it'll take for demonetization to let me actually publish this, but that's 10 new cases in 4 days. Our relative described the situation in the hospital as very sad, as Jacinta's young body was riddled with tubes and needles as doctors tried everything they could to save her. She was later placed on a life support machine, but only for a while. And if that's not enough of a punch in the gut, here's another article, and this came out maybe 5 days before the last one. On the front line, no doctor wants to see a child die, says Dr. Tito Kamu. This is reporting from the hospitals with some of the doctors. In fact, this one doctor is head of the pediatric unit for children, Ulugia. So the medical staff working on a 24/7 roster are trying to cope with the emotions of a daily situation. He confirmed that most of the serious cases they are dealing with are children that have been getting alternative treatments. By the time they are brought to the hospital, the complications of pneumonia have gotten worse, and it's very difficult to treat pneumonia in any measles case. He explained the seriousness by the methods used to combat pneumonia. In my 20-year career as a doctor, only one tube is needed to drain the water and pass in the body. With the most severe cases currently treated at the hospital, 3 to 4 tubes are used to try and get rid of the water in these very young children. He said that the severity of the case is due to the negligence of parents by turning to alternative treatments instead of bringing the child straight to the hospital first. Get your child vaccinated, and he/she will have a better chance of defying any disease. He also urged the public not to be easily convinced by what they hear, but to give their children a better chance by having them vaccinated. And this is just only some of the cases, some of the examples that we can bring up about this situation. I've read several accounts of families trying to keep their children alive while they're in the car driving to the hospital and just not making it in time. It's the concept of this seems so foreign to me and probably to most people who have the privilege of living in a place like America where, you know, we don't have to deal with this. Our vaccination rates are usually pretty good. Not any thanks to certain someones who are trying to negatively impact it and bring the reality that is happening in Samoa to a place like America. We have well over 1,000 times the population. 1,000 times 62. Collateral damage in the war of freedoms versus vaccine mandates, some might say. But look, all right, there is a very dark turn to this whole thing. We can say on one hand, like, well, okay, Samoa just doesn't really have a very good vaccination rate, and it's unfortunate because the measles came in, and now it's run rampant, and that's what happened, right? That's what happened. Right? That's what happened. It's just because they just didn't have the vaccine or because, like, the vaccinations just weren't up to snuff. Not enough people. That's why, right? That's why. This is coming from Dr. Richard Pan. Dr. Richard Pan is one of the foremost people in the front line trying to fight against the anti-vax menace. Anti-vaccine activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a nephew of President John F. Kennedy, visited the country in June, appearing next to officials at Samoan independence celebrations. His visit was for a program that is not government-related, an official in the Prime Minister's department told Samoan news media at the time. Kennedy has asserted that vaccines cause autism, a claim disproven by extensive research. Members of the Kennedy family have publicly criticized him for helping spread dangerous misinformation. An Instagram photo shows Kennedy embracing the Australian Samoan anti-vaccine activist Taylor Winterstein in Samoa on June 4th. I happen to have this picture right here. There we go. The past few days have been profoundly monumental for me, my family, and for this movement to date. I'm deeply honored to have been in the presence of a man I believe is, can, and will change the course of history. This was divinely timed, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I will forever cherish the conversations and moments we shared together in Samoa, my homeland. Thank you, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. Everywhere these activists go, measles epidemics follow. Andrew Wakefield and the Somali population back in 2010. You've got Orthodox Jewish communities that are visited by people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You have all of these instances that we can point to. This isn't just isolated incidents. This is a patterned standard of behavior. We can see the cause and effect. The cause is anti-vaxxers and dangerous, misleading, fucked up information. And the effect is measles and dead kids. We can see it. Right now. It's happening now. Right now. Dozens and dozens and dozens of dead children. And why? Why? Maybe their vaccination rates weren't high to begin with. But do you really think that this guy in any way is totally blameless for this? How many times do we let people like this get away with it? I don't understand. Look, I'm going to let my nerd flag fly a little bit here. I really enjoy this thing called Warhammer. It's a fantasy / sci-fi genre thing. And in it, there's a chaos god named Nurgle, Lord of Disease and Plagues. Everywhere Nurgle walks is where death, disease, pustules, and suffering follow. Nurgle. His fucking name is Nurgle now. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., fuck you, you're Nurgle. There's not really a whole lot we can do about this. I mean, we can get vaccinated. And we can try and tell our friends and our family to get vaccinated. We can point this stuff out and say, look, this is happening. But, I mean, that's the best we can do. And we should do it. You know, that's why I'm doing this, as much as it sucks to talk about this, as much as it hurts the soul to even have to think about. But horror happens whether we see it or not. Whether we pay attention to it, whether we keep our eyes open and bear witness to the atrocious things that are happening, they still happen. The very least we can do is understand them. Because it's not the anti-vaxxers' kids who are going to die from this. Oh, no. No, it's people like you and me who just maybe are a little too gullible or in a very vulnerable situation or position, and they get taken advantage of by these vile people. And then that which is the most precious to them, they can lose. I don't really have a good ending for this video, but I do hope that you and your family are well and you continue to be so. And from mine to yours, I hope you have a good day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.